Hey guys, Jamie here. I wanted to share something that just came through for me. Just like a real world, like lived example of what I mean when I talk about the power and the value of being open to seeing things differently. Put another way, the art and practice of having an intentional perspective. So, a little bit of background, one of my side hustles is that I substitute teach for K through 12 in our local school district. And I just I I love it so much. I think if I was a billionaire, I'd still do it. Ask me if that ever happens. But here's what was funny. So I had an experience. It just showed up for me. I was like literally writing in my planner. And I just had this moment and I'm like, oh, I need to make a video. This is going to be so helpful. So random, it has never happened before. Like I like get a text message saying, hey, this is so-and-so from, admin at one of the schools. Hey, we're looking for a sub for like this date that's like 2 months away. And then this other date, which is 3 months away. Now, it's strange because when a teacher just wants to request you, they just request you. And then you get a notification in the app that a teacher wants you and you hit accept. So it was all very strange. There was a lot of like mystery and question marks and also a little bit of self-consciousness about like, how do I handle this situation so that I sound grateful that they reached out to me and not like ungrateful and not like someone who's only willing to do the sub job if it like is exactly what I want. So that's interesting and that's something I'll process separately. What she did was she just told me the dates. She didn't tell me what teacher it was for, what subject it was for, or what grade it was for. And I was like, okay. I knew it was a middle school assignment because of what school she was calling from. I looked at my calendar. One of the dates I had a conflict and one I didn't. So I just said, I'm not available on that second date 3 months away, ironically. But I am for that first date that you said, like at the end of October. And she's like, great. Okay, I'll put you down for it. And honestly, I was like, what did I just sign up for? This is so weird. I've never had a sub assignment come about this way. But also, I was manifesting, actively manifesting unexpected opportunities just falling in my lap. So obviously, that was a perfect example of that happening. And so it makes sense that that just showed up in my life randomly and just strangely with all these question marks around it. But here's what happened. And we do this. I know I'm not the only one. The more time that went by that I didn't know what this job was that I just signed up for, the more my brain and the gremlins around me started making assumptions. The more days that passed and I didn't know what the assignment was, I started to, unfortunately, what I did was my brain had two choices. I could have seen it as a huge blessing, exciting, fun. I could have thought of it as like this really cool, positive thing. Unfortunately, what my brain did was it started thinking about like worst case scenarios. My brain started thinking like, this is going to sound terrible. I hate admitting this, but I know like, listen, this is real world. So I really genuinely, I want to be vulnerable and honest with you guys so that it really does help and support in some way. So what I actually started thinking was like, why would she reach out to me and not tell me what the assignments were unless they were bad? I was thinking, man, what if there are assignments that they like really aren't good about it being able to fill? And so she purposely didn't tell me what the assignment was, like what? Like, was she being sneaky? Did she like lure me into this job that I wouldn't have said yes to if I had all the information? And the more I thought about it, like the more it bothered me. And I didn't think of it as a blessing. I kind of thought of it as like this heavy, inconvenient, like scary, annoying question mark on my schedule. And that is why I was, like I said, I was just writing in my planner and this just showed up. And I'm like, ugh, I got to make a video on this because this is a perfect example. Literally, I can stop myself in my tracks and I can reroute this shit, right? I can literally rewrite. I hold the pen. I am writing the end of this story right now. So anyways, I did forget one part of the story. I did eventually decide I'm going to reach out to her and be like, hey, by the way, the assignment we talked about hasn't shown up in my app yet. Like, should it have by now? Was there a technical glitch? Let me know. You know, that was my roundabout way of basically trying to find out what this assignment was. And it turned out the assignment was something that I definitely initially would consider inconvenient and undesirable, which was a full day of subbing, but they intentionally have you covering two different people. Meaning in the morning, they have me subbing for one teacher, and then in the afternoon, they have me moving and subbing for a different teacher. A lot of times when that happens, it's very tricky because you can end up without a break, you can end up without a prep period, you can end up having a really long, harder day. So I did receive that information, and that definitely contributed even more to kind of this like a little bit of a indignant, if honestly, like a little indignant, ungrateful attitude about it. I kind of lost touch with like how magical it was that I manifested that and how I was calling in more abundance in unexpected ways. And I wanted it to drop in my lap, and that's exactly what I got, you know? So this was a perfect opportunity where I'm just writing right here for me to go, whoa, wait a minute. The picture I'm painting in my mind, the story that I am telling about this, what I am anticipating about this job that's 2.5 months away, 3 months away, all of that can be shifted right here, right now. I can choose to see this differently. I can choose to anticipate a great day instead of a draining day, where my brain immediately went to worst case scenarios about this being like hard, frustrating, manipulative, sneaky. What if I don't get a prep period for either of the teachers? What if, what if I'm like shorted on my lunch break because of the transition? Like, all of these what ifs were all negative. They were all like worst case scenario, or they were all like the not ideal scenario. And so it's just amazing that I have this awareness right now, because the truth is I can flip a switch and I can tell a different, more empowering and more enjoyable story. Now that's going to do two things. First of all, it is going to make it way more likely that I have a great day when I go do this sub job on October 29th. Second, between now, it's August, between now and October 29th, I can either be miserable frustrated, resentful, annoyed, mad. I can be all of those things when I think about this sub job coming. And that's very heavy. And it's totally out of alignment with my vibe. And it sucks. And it doesn't feel good at all. And I can literally change that entire experience. It's August, and between August, September, October, all the way to the end of October 29th is when this job is. Instead, I can flip a switch and just choose to see this differently and remember how magical the manifestation was in the first place. I can look forward to the fact that, oh, I'm going to be with, one group the first half of the day, another group the second half of the day, and maybe that's going to be amazing. And I'm subbing for 2 different teachers. That means I might be able to have 2 prep periods. I mean, what if she really hooked me up? It also made sense to me when I found out that was the assignment. It made sense that she reached out the way that she did, because essentially she knew she had 2 people taking a half day, and rather than list them as 2 separate assignments, she's trying to find someone to cover both of them. So it's a unique situation, and I understand why she reached out in that weird, different sort of way than you normally would when you're just requesting someone for an assignment. So the bottom line is, if I just have to remember my conscious creator, my deliberate creator. I have to remember my power as a human being in this world, in this universe. I have the power to influence my future outcomes, which means that when I hold the vision of what I actually want to happen, when I anchor into that, when I kind of activate that energy, I am literally putting in motion a different experience. And at the very least, I am not ruining, I am not tainting my experience from the end of August all the way to the end of October, anticipating this, that this job is going to suck, right? Now, again, this is like one sub job, so I'm not a crazy person. I'm not dwelling on this constantly, but here's what I noticed. Every time I thought about it, I didn't really feel good about it. And that is a sign to me that I just need to look at it differently. I need to be open and willing to seeing things differently. I need to be willing to be open to the possibility that this was a blessing, not a curse. I need to be open and willing and open to the possibility that this can be a fantastic sub job, and that I'm going to walk away so grateful that I had that opportunity and that they thought of me, and blah, 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 blah. So that's the bottom line. This happens throughout our day more than we will ever realize, right? More than we will ever be consciously aware. We are I almost like poked myself in the eye. We are unconsciously flowing stories about everything that's happening in our lives, about everything that's going on. This is just like one random example that just showed up for me. And so anytime we're thinking about something and we're thinking about it in a way that doesn't feel good, it is an opportunity to shift our perspective. It's an opportunity to change the narrative, to change the story, to, instead of making assumptions that make us feel bad, to flip that switch and make assumptions that make us feel good. That is the power of deliberate creation. That is the power that we have as conscious creators. as human beings on this planet Earth. We get to decide when we look at something if it makes us happy or if it makes us sad, right? If we feel happy, if we tell a story in our head that feels good, or if we tell a story in our head that feels bad. Both scenarios are completely within our control. The only things that are in our control are the thoughts that we think, the actions that we take, right? The beliefs that we're holding on to. These are things that we are in control of. Now, I'm not in control of how the students act that day. There's so much out of my control. But what I can do is decide that I'm going to have a great day and that it's going to be for my highest good no matter what. And that allows me to move forward in the coming days, in the coming weeks, in the coming months, and not dread this assignment, but look forward to it. So anyways, this was a bit longer than I expected. I hope this was helpful. As always, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to live and love your life on purpose. Oh, I've been forgetting. I've also been trying to tell everybody about the school community that I'm creating. It's under construction as of this video. If you're liking the content of these videos, then, come find me in my school community space, because you'll get more of the same and maybe even a bit more. I'm really excited for all the possibilities over there. So yeah, link in the description. All right, bye everyone.